Evening. I have a question by Linda that I wanted to ask you about Kundalini movement. I know we should never try to force it to our detriment, but is it, or rather shouldn't it be, a slow process according to our level of understanding? And thank you for posting those links. Could you maybe answer me in a video so others could also hear? Okay. So, as you know, this planet is going through a time of transformation, and the energies are changing now. There's the big divisionary thing that's happening. So, now is a time that more Kundalini may be awakened, more things may awaken. And the ways that they awaken, now you're talking about slow process. There is not a slow process with Kundalini. It's either open or it's not. Okay. Now people want to say they've had a Kundalini experience, and really all they've had is a pranic surge. They had a one-time boom and that's it. They experienced something, so they want to say they had a Kundalini experience, but a pranic surge is not a Kundalini awakening. Okay, a Kundalini awakening, when Kundalini is awakened, it's a 24/7 process. There's no on and off switch. This is not, and this is why, I tell people, don't look to open it until you're ready to commit. Because once Kundalini is awakened, it goes through the consciousness. It goes through the levels, the layers, what they call the chakras. And, on the Kundalini, the path I teach, you're not sitting there focusing on chakras. It's nothing about that. You are going through the levels and layers of consciousness, okay? And so the things that you read in these Kundalini books, for the most part, is bogus. Things that they have read from someone else, and then they just transcribe and they put it out there, okay? In a genuine Kundalini journey, like I said, 1 second you can be in your physical form, and the next second your consciousness can be above the trees. And these experiences are to show you are not the physical form. You are consciousness, you are spirit. So maybe you open it up and you start to see auras, you start to become more empathic, but there's a lot of different things that you will transit through. And again, it's going to bring up things more in your face than if you are sitting in your normal life just trying to access these things. With Kundalini, it's more automatic. It comes and it's going to bring up your fears to look at, okay? Whatever holdings you have, it's going to bring it up so that you can see it and address it more easily, okay? So yes, in the Kundalini awakening, it is so important to stay grounded, okay? So they say you don't open it if you are alone and you don't have a guide, you don't have a way to ground. If you are somebody that's in a mental illness, you definitely don't want to do that. If you are somebody that's always in fantasy land, again, not the best option for you, okay? Because it does bring up a lot of things to see. You'll have visions, you'll have, lucid dreaming. You'll have specific dreams that say what's going on with Kundalini at the moment, how active it is. There are a lot of things that happen in this journey. But again, you don't, there's not a real slow opening like I'm just going to do a little touch of it. It's either open or it's not. Now, some ways it can get activated if you are having energy work done. It can activate, okay? That's why I don't do a lot of energy work with people, because it can activate. And if they are not ready for it, then, again, because once it's open, you don't close it, okay? You've just got to process the journey. Okay. So, I mean, there's a lot of mistaken notions about Kundalini. You have people out there that are writing books on hearsay. They're not in the journey. They haven't completed it. So what they're putting out is something they've heard somebody else say. So again, it's not about colors of chakras. It's not about focusing on the body chakras. It's none of that. Okay, it's not like that. It's about, it's going to bring up these experiences for you to have, to show you are not the physical form, that you are spirit. It's going to show you the things, what it is you are fearing, the hidden things that's not so easy to access. It will bring it up for you to question and challenge. But there are ways, again, to ground. We have methodologies to ground. Give out practices that aid one in going forward, practices of expansion and practices of cutting through on a lot of different levels of the mind spin and other things, and how to go through it, how to stay in the moment, how to access, how to get to a place where you're in witness state, where you can begin to question these things, where you have a buffer zone. It's not about doing third eye meditations. I have people stay away from that because you're not wanting to go through astral realms and create all this phenomena. It's not about that. Okay? So if you're going through Kundalini journey, you want to, you start in the heart and you end in the heart. Okay? So, some of the things like the mantra that I've just given out to light workers, okay? It accesses, opens the spiritual heart. If you are ready, then Kundalini can activate, okay? I want people to know that it can activate. And again, we have an online ashram for those that are activated, so that you have others that are also going through the journey and you have a good support group. You're not out there by yourself trying to navigate this like I had to do. See, when I went through my journey, there were no books on Kundalini. There was one thing out there, and I mean one thing, by Lee Sinella, okay? And it wasn't that helpful. Now you can find Kundalini books on every shelf. Every guy and his brother has written something. But again, when I went through the journey, there was nothing out there. And I had to make my way through it by trial and error to find out what works and what doesn't work. Now, that's what happens if you are meant to be a teacher, a guide, a light. You have to find the map, the way through, so that you can, again, aid others in their journey. You have the map, you have the way, you give out the things that work and don't work. Again, if you are interested in it, then I say get my book. Get this one, The Kundalini from Hell to Heaven. And it's going to let you know the experiences, the things you go through, what's beneficial, what's not, okay? So that's the reason I put this book out there. It's still selling. People hang on to it. It's like their, it's like their Bible to go through this. It gives something that they can continue to access and aids them on the journey, okay? So again, if you're interested in it, you can read. It's got a little bit about my journey, but mainly it's got aids and helps, and it's not only good for the Kundalini journey, it's also good for anybody on a spiritual path. It's got a lot of things that are beneficial as you're walking that path. So you can get that from Amazon, Kundalini from Hell to Heaven. Okay. So that's one, of course, I recommend. I don't recommend a lot of these other Kundalini books because, like I said, they're going to talk about chakras and colors and, no, the Kundalini journey is a journey through consciousness, okay? Though you have the chakras, certain things will resonate in certain areas of the physical form, okay? But it's not about the physical form. It's not about, trying to energize a chakra area and what's blocked and what's not and all of that stuff. Again, we're not sitting here doing yoga moves. You're not sit here and taught specific mudras and this and that, because when Kundalini awakens, if the body needs to connect certain energetic centers, you will do spontaneous Kundalini moves. I can tell you that absolutely 100%. Okay, and that's how yoga came into existence. Somebody had a Kundalini awakening. They started doing all these moves, and then they started teaching them. But unfortunately, in doing that, you can be actually fighting against the Kundalini awakening and the journey. So what you need to access, it's going to happen spontaneously. The mudras and these hand things that happen, they happen again spontaneously. It's not something you need to be taught. Kundalini actually moves the hands in what you need to do, okay? You may do spontaneous mantra. You may do spontaneous, again, the Kundalini is awareness. It is consciousness itself, okay? So you don't need to direct it. You just need to get out of the way and let it do what it needs to do to aid you to move forward. You learn how to work with it. Because if you're going to try to fight with it, Kundalini will win, okay? So you learn how to access the journey to go forward, okay? So, yeah, I mean, if people have questions, you can go ahead and put the questions in. I can happy to give it to my students and let them answer you from their own experience, as to what happens with the Kundalini journey and what doesn't, okay? What's beneficial, how they're navigating it. So again, this idea of, gently opening a little at a time based on where you're at, No, it doesn't work that way. It's either open or it's not, okay? Now, it can open if you are sincere in wanting the path more than anything. It can awaken. Again, it can awaken through a shock. If you have a heavy shock to your system, it can jar it awake. It can get awoken if you are having energy work. If you are listening to some of these binaural beats and stuff like that, sometimes that can jog it awake, can open it as well. Okay? So, I just want people to be aware. It's not something to be frightened of, but again, if somebody wants to come on the Kundalini path, there are questions that I ask them. Are you on psych meds? Do you have, if you are in unbalanced state, it's not the best thing for you to be trying to do a Kundalini journey. Okay? Because you need to stay grounded. You need to have clarity of mind in order to transition in a beneficial way through the journey. Now, I could say, there are difficult points, but there are difficult points in life no matter what you have. Okay? But 100% I can say when you get to the end and everything dismantles into the divine is, all the baggage that you ever carried is gone, finished, done. It doesn't come back. The mind stills. One enters into a whole new type of consciousness. Okay? So yes, it is well worth it. People think that they're going to get on the path and they're going to be enlightened in a year. That's a fallacy. And everybody that comes on thinks, oh, I'm just going to do it really hard, and in a year I'm going to be the one person that's going to make it. No. You know, and you have the hard way or the harder way. Okay? So again, you know, we are here. I've given the tools. I have tools that I continue to give people to aid them in their journey. And yeah, okay. I don't know what more I can say other than that. But it is a journey through consciousness, through the 7 layers of consciousness, which it has it in here. Let me find it here so I can let you know all the layers that one goes through. Okay. Okay, so in here they have, I'll just read a few of the things. Kundalini awakenings, your fear, phenomena, dreams, cities, bliss, end of the journey, and what is enlightenment in daily life, what does it look like? About illness, medical misdiagnosis, the no-self state, dissolution, pain of the world, energy rushes and anxiety, the guru imbalance, the emotional roller coasters that one goes through, about psychic powers. It goes through all of these things in here. Kundalini phenomena symptoms, how does it get started, what is the purpose, the 7 realms or layers of consciousness, and then questions and answers, etc. So I'm going to give you the 7 layers of consciousness, what one goes through as they transit the journey. Now, you know, people think that you start with the bottom chakra and you go up, and it's no. There are different realms, layers of consciousness. You can access one and then you can jump to another one, okay? You can have 2 that are kind of intermingled into each other, okay? So this idea that you're focusing on a chakra and you're going to see that color and feel the spinning and make sure it's spinning the right direction. Throw all that out. So the first mindset or realm to transit is that of survival. Okay? The survival, fight or flight. So I'm not going to read the whole thing here. I'm just going to give you basically what it is. So the first thing that one transits through, the first layer, which would be the bottom chakra, okay, is survival, fight or flight. The next one is sexuality, going through all the sexuality drama. The third one is personal power, ego, okay. The fourth one is the heart awareness. The fifth one is creative endeavor, okay, creative, what you're speaking, what you're doing, how you're creating, because everything you speak is creation. It's putting that energy, that vibration out there. The next is the mental, subtle realms, the astral planes, all of that. And then the last one is beyond the mind, going beyond those transited realms. So it's through consciousness how you access all of those things, okay? What is your fear concerning it? What is your, is it something that you are addicted to, or, all of these things you transit through. Layers and levels of consciousness, okay? So it's a totally different thing than Kundalini yoga, okay, where they're teaching you fire breath and trying to awaken it. There's no fire breath here. If you do a fire breath and you have it awakened and you are not balanced, you can really throw yourself off. It could be dangerous to do a fire breath when you are not in balance. So what is given here is a balanced breath. It's a very gentle thing. It's a way to keep things in balance rather than trying to push something in a fire breath, okay? So the path that I'm teaching is totally different than what you're going to find out there with yoga moves and all of this other stuff. This bears no resemblance to that whatsoever. This is a path through consciousness, okay? It's a path of gyan, wisdom, looking, questioning. Again, you do the things like, what is this I? Looking deeper. So what is given here, again, is vastly different than what you will find under the heading of a misnomer of Kundalini yoga path, okay? And I really am disappointed that they use that name, Kundalini yoga, because they're not really teaching a Kundalini path. They're teaching yoga moves, which they used to do to try to get ready for meditation, so you could be flexible enough so you could sit, so you could do meditation, okay? So again, what is given here is totally different. I love when people come in and want to try to spout nonsense. They don't know a thing about what I'm teaching, what I'm giving, and yet they want to try to run their mouth about, how nasty, negative, fearful, put fearful into people because they don't know what they're talking about. No clue, okay? So I'm going to leave this here. Thanks for tuning in. Love and light. See you online.